Well, hi everyone. Welcome to Like Literarily, and guess who is here with us today?
I'm back. It's me,
It's
Riley. Who's this?
Riley!
The baby's here too.
Oh, the little one is with us.
Our
Yes, she is.
unofficial, us and our unofficial fourth member of Like Literarily are back
Like
Like
literally.
literally.
for
Baby's
another episode.
baby's first podcast.
Katie's first podcast. Have you heard crying? No, you didn't.
Oh no. And today's episode is actually a reread for me and a first time read for Alicia and Riley. So wow, I can't talk today. We read Every Summer After by Carly Fortune in honor of her new book, the sequel to Every Summer After, One Golden Summer, which came out earlier this year, I believe in like May.
That sounds
So
right.
since Riley is here, would you care to do us the honors and tell everybody a little bit about Every Summer After?
I would love to. All right, so Persephone, aka Percy, Fraser, has spent the last decade avoiding Barry's Bay, and the biggest mistake of her life. Instead of summers by the lake, she now lives in a city, keeping her heart carefully guarded. But when she's back home for Sam Florrick's mother's funeral, she's forced to face the boy she once loved and the past she left behind. For 6 summers, Percy and Sam were inseparable, sharing lake days, restaurant shifts, and dreams about the future, until it all fell apart. Dun, dun, dun. Now, one weekend might be enough to reignite what they lost, but only if Percy can face the choices that broke them. Told over 6 years and one powerful weekend, Every Summer After is a story of love, mistakes, and the moments that shape us.
I did not realize all the present chapters were over a weekend. I thought it was a week. We'll circle back to that. But before we jump in to this episode, I've got just a fun kick us off kind of question for the pod, and that is you can only answer with either or of the either or here with no elaboration. But was Sam a summer fling or a soulmate? Because I think he was a summer fling.
I think it was a summer fling as well.
I didn't read your directions, so I definitely did not pick one or the other.
I didn't even realize.
I think they're twin flames. Summer fling that could have been something more serious, but at the end of her book, she literally was like, "We fight a lot."
Fair enough. So going into this book, it has that a lot of those flashbacks. Every other chapter, we're in the present, we're in the past, it's the then, now. And I really enjoyed the past chapters. Like those really stood out to me. I thought Carly did an amazing job with just capturing the summer vibes, being on a lake, being a teenager who's being dragged to the lake, like having your little friends there, like the first love. Like I was really, really into all those past chapters, and it really made the book for me. I also grew up going to a lake nonstop, so it felt like pretty reminiscent from that point of view of oh yeah, you all get to travel up to the lake for your time in the summer and you just get to be on the water and everything. And it felt like it had a 2000s vibe to it, which was the correct time for, you know, my own growing up. So I really liked all of that part. I didn't have no summer fling at the lake, so I get to live vicariously backwards through this book for my own childhood and all. But what did you all think of the dual timeline?
So I actually really love Carly Fortune's writing in this book in comparison to her others. I think I'm the only one here at the pod that has read almost all of her books, and I actually, since we reread this, just started One Golden Summer. Um, and she did the dual timeline in this one. I think only this one, with a few flashbacks in some of her other ones, but she did it best in Every Summer After. I think the then chapters were done way better than the now chapters, and here's why. The now chapters were honestly not that bad until the really stupid plot twist storyline that I am not a huge fan of Um, this is my favorite book of Carly Fortune, so I say that very small in comparison to how much I like about the rest of the book, but I genuinely liked it. I like the then and now. I think when you kind of get the then and now and then it comes to a point, I that's like one of my favorite ways people write, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I like the dual timeline. I think it gave more mystery to you finding out exactly what the falling out was, because if I found it out any earlier, I would have been like, nope. Um, but I did find the present timeline to be very like over dramatic. I don't know. It was like they're 30 years old and this drama happened 12 years ago, and it makes sense for the drama when you're a teenager and you're not that mature. But this is like not a neurologist, that's a different book, a cardiologist and an editor that are both really successful in your careers, and they're still hung up on something that happened 12 years ago for something that was like a little anticlimactic. But I mean, it was shitty what she did, but it was like 12 years ago. Anyway, that's
Feel
my
that.
take on it. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Overall, I felt like the romance seemed like a very much like a first love romance, maybe not a forever thing, especially since they were adults and they were still freaking out. Um, was the romance there for you guys, or is it that, or is that where like the book kind of like was a miss? What do you guys think?
I think the build up for them as teens made so much sense for me. Like it was very much like the girl next door, like you belong with me, Taylor Swift music video vibe. Like I think they built up the I think Carly Fortune did a really good job of building up Percy and Sam's love story as they went from meeting and it being the friend that they both kind of have always needed into how their parents kind of started to treat them differently as they transitioned into being teenagers and how their own feelings kind of grew. But when it came to them as adults, I just kind of felt like they were over romanticizing something from being teenagers that didn't even seem substantial enough as adults. Like you had a whole girlfriend or fiance or whatever it was of like 2 years, and then you just dump her after seeing your childhood crush. Like that was crazy as hell to me. I was like,
That whole plot point didn't make any sense.
like how are we having this
It
whole
was
conversation about
unnecessary.
like how are we having this whole conversation about you having this whole other person and then Percy having like commitment issues to this like I just felt like they were over romanticizing something, which I get because Carly Fortune wrote that part so well. But I feel like if we were supposed to feel like they were like this twin flame, like actual soulmate reunited kind of vibe, like I just didn't really get that on most occasions. What do you guys think?
I'd agree with that. Like, I felt Sam was a really interesting young character, as in, like, okay, well, we're not getting, like, the typical just, like, I mean, Charlie is, I guess, what you get in a lot of, like, the teen romance books. It was like, okay, this person's, like, career driven. He knows he wants to go off to school. He's, like, buckling down, reading, yeah, cardiology books through the summer, and you're just like, okay, we've got a very strong character and vibes going here that's different from a lot of books. Do I think it was fully realistic? But like at least it was something different. And so I liked that he had this whole plan for his life, which obviously became a little bit of his um fatal flaw. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for there. But I felt like he was also a really good parallel to Percy, particularly in the now chapters. Maybe his old self, because he doesn't get flushed out in the now chapters, in my opinion. Like he's there, but just kind of a doormat. I don't know.
No, I agree.
Yeah, like we get to know his character from the past, and we're getting to know Percy, I feel like, a little bit more in the now and kind of how she's been in this pining and how like it's impacted her mental health. And like she's just this completely chaotic character. And so seeing that juxtaposition is fun, but like was it romantic?
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. It didn't feel as romantic as it like maybe could have.
Which, building up to what this plot twist was, all of us are just head in the hands, like, girl, why?
It was, I hated it. I hated the plot twist.
It just, the suspense wasn't there for that, in my opinion.
No, it was so dramatic, and then I was like, "Oh, that's what happened." Like, all right, spoiler warning, we're gonna ruin it. Log off now. But so like, I expected it to be like something really dramatic, like Percy freaking like loses something that belonged to his dad, or like ruins something, hit somebody with a car. She slept with his brother.
Honestly, that's where I was like, somebody's died. Somebody
Yeah.
like something like insane, and then yeah, we get this 1 to 2 chapter fast paced. Oh, Charlie's not that bad when he's the only one here to hang out with, and then the moment.
Not only was it something, and I will say this and die on this hill, lame as hell, and similar with the brother, which okay, I get you know, morally that's probably not that's probably messed up, right? Like we get it.
It's messed up, don't get
It's
me
the
wrong.
fact that he knew, and you are a grown ass man, and you just never said anything about the fact that this entire time you've known. So you let the woman of your dreams, quote unquote, right, this whole time, like not speak to you when you simply could have been like, listen, girly pop, I know you slept with my brother, so we can talk about this or not.
Yeah.
That's definitely fair if you're thinking their whole timeline. Part of my is like, this happened. The now chapters were over a weekend, which I did not catch. Again, I thought it was at least a week over his mom's funeral. I was like, okay, I can get why he didn't bring it up in this context, but like, yeah, the whole past 12 years, valid conversation. But also, like, why? Like, yeah, it's kind of cute. Like, oh yeah, the mom said that we should invite you when she knew she was sick, but like, is this really how we had to have this reunion?
Like even Charlie, why did you not tell her? By the way, I told Sam. So hey, our mom's sick. You should come see her before she like dies.
Guys.
Make up with my brother. He knows. We know. Everybody knows here. Even mom knows.
I mean, it sounds like they knew since like 2 weeks after it happened, too. It's not like this was a like, oh, I eventually felt the need to tell them years later. Like, no, this was like an immediate cave, and we worked through it, and it was messy because 2 of us were teenagers, but like, we figured our shit out.
Also, we find out like, so the plot point where he like proposes to her when they're like 18 years old, ridiculous. Absolutely the fuck not. Sorry.
I also just blocked that out and didn't even, yeah.
And
what?
he knew. He proposed. He knew.
Oh yeah.
Didn't make any sense. Like, and he could have. Sorry, Ham's yelling at me because I was yelling. But
he gets it. It's
it's
dumb.
ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. You couldn't just tell her then, like when she says no, like just be like, "Yo, I knew. I forgive you. Let's get married." I'm glad they didn't because they were 18. But
no,
like,
we can joke about it in our speeches and then see how this plays out with the whole
what?
fandom.
What? Doesn't make any sense. Harley, this was very much so an I Summer I Turned Pretty book where like if I read this like when I was reading that book, I would have ate this shit up like so hard. It would have been my favorite book.
Riley
But
was a
now
big
I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense.
well, even
I'm
when we
too old
jump
for this.
to the present, yeah, and that's the thing. They're dealing with this now in their 30s. They are our age, and we watch this like aftermath of her telling him, and it's just like he gets, it just gets angry and then forgives. They don't talk about it. They still don't talk about it. Like it's stated, but it's not a conversation. Like I'm just like, this is what we built up to. Even if like that we were building up to that being the plot twist, that building up as a tension point between the two of them just fell completely flat given it was partially resolved on one side 12 years prior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, freaking Percy's been having panic attacks, hasn't talked to her best friend. Her new best friend is calling her to make sure she's like not suicidal, pretty much. And sorry, trigger warning. That's like something I should warn. Anyway, but I like Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Like
it
poor girl for the past 12 years. You couldn't have told her so she could work through this in therapy. Like, no. What the
yeah.
hell? So inconsiderate.
I feel like the buildup of the entire book is the reason why I like this book so much out of all of the rest of them because I feel like the storyline between, City Girl comes to this cottage in Canada and meets these two boys and has friendships of a lifetime and, her and Delilah like work things out and they're friends for a lifetime. And I just feel like it was such a good like coming of age book, like talking about like losing a parent and even like when she kind of mentions how they had to sell the cottage because they were in money problems and figuring out where you want to go to school and what you want to do for a living and capitalizing on the skills, like them encouraging her to write more. Like I feel like all the buildup was so good just to hit this like super anticlimactic, like kind of random, as Alicia said, super rushed, like plot twist.
Can I give my thoughts on how I would rewrite this book?
Yes.
This book would be a diary and it would go chronological order where she would go through every single summer. It would also be a YA book because that's much more the audience for this, which is fine. But yeah, the story would be chronological. It'd be her summer diary, go through all of that. He proposes, and then they work through it, and we just ignore the whole present timeline. Just throw it out because you know what? It's not for us.
I agree. Like we've said, like the present chapters with them in the 30s isn't landing for us, and that's us, the target audience. But
Me.
like it also doesn't read as it's not like a teen romance, it's not a teen coming of age, it's not a young adult. It's in this weird in
Yeah.
between, which it is a debut novel, like you're figuring out your genre constraints probably in that space. But I do think rewriting this as a young adult would strengthen it
Mm-hmm.
or really leaning into that like summer reminiscing vibe, which
Yes.
would probably just be on the upper end of young adult still.
Yeah. But yeah, I just don't think the audience was clear when she was writing this book. And if she had a clearer audience, it could have been better. You know what I mean? Like it had a lot of potential. For me, it didn't land. But I
I
guess
feel
that's me getting to my final thoughts. So,
I feel like she could I feel like she wrote this a few years ago, like I think 2021 or 2 or something. So I feel like, height of book talk, bookstagram, I feel like she added the smut just to gauge the audience, but like she didn't even need it.
I also just looked it up and she's 40, so like she had that 30s perspective when writing this book. It's not like she was trying to extrapolate out the guess of how adults would be handling this situation. I mean, I doubt she went through this exact situation, so there's some extrapolation there. But yeah,
yeah, I think she should have leaned into the young adult and got rid of the smut because I don't think it was necessary and it wasn't great. So like just get rid of it. It's not necessary in every book. Like let's be real. That's right. This would have been a perfect The Summer I Turned Pretty book genre, like age time frame. If she just got rid of like that part.
So I think that kind of takes us into some of our final thoughts, as Riley said. So I guess just to kind of wrap this up with the bow. So like I said, this was a reread for me. I really enjoyed it the first time. I enjoyed it just as much the second time. I didn't read it as fast just because of life, but I finished it earlier today, and it was her debut novel, as we said. And honestly, I'll repeat it. It's the best one to me so far. Her Meet Me at the Lake was mid. Her It Happened Last Summer wasn't too bad. Every summer after was honestly the best to me. I have kind of low hopes for One Golden Summer, but I'm hoping because it is based off of debut novel characters, i.e., Charlie, we're getting his happily ever after. I'm hoping it's decent. So I gave this 5 stars the first time. I think I gave it 4.5 this time around because I don't know, man. That major reveal just is low key iffy to me, and or was low key iffy to me the first time, and then this time around, I just honestly was more annoyed at it. And just the fact that Sam knew and kept it to himself was just so stupid. But the then chapters just really carry it, and I love that I turned the summer I turned pretty, all the boys I loved before kind of summer vibe. So yeah. What about you, Alicia?
I think very similar, where it was like the then chapters really saved it for me, and I was like, I'm just gonna block out all the now chapters and ignore the ending. And then I was like, but I really enjoyed all of the build up until that point of like just the summers outside of this tension, then that just everything from there was like, why? And so I still gave it 4.75, and what pushed it up for me, because this was on the higher end of what I was considering, was I really didn't put the book down. So even though I was getting annoyed with it by the end, I still was like, I've got to keep reading this. So like I was in it, and so I felt like I was like, we're gonna give it the 4.75. And you know, to do my honorary, try to link like almost everything to Taylor Swift. I'm gonna argue another Taylor Swift song this book was reminding me of, which was August from Folklore, which you know, the best album. So
I could see that. I see where you're going with that, Alicia. I don't know if this book was just like really not for me, or if maybe I was reading it in like the wrong setting. Like I think this is a really good beach read or sit on the dock kind of read. Like it's a summer read that is like low key. You need a cocktail in your hand and you're gonna eat that up, right? I'm like postpartum, and so I'm listening to this, and it was just like not what I wanted to listen to. I don't know, it was just like not the vibe at the moment. Maybe if I read it in a different setting, I would have liked it more, like by the pool with the pina colada. That sounds like lovely, actually. Maybe someday. Anyway, overall, the present chapters really ruined it for me. The plot twist really ruined it for me. I wasn't into it. The narration was pretty decent because I did listen to this one, and overall, I gave it a 3 out of 5. It was fine. It could have been a lot better, but it was fine. Anyway, that's where I'm at with it. I was obviously very vocal this episode, but that's me coming back, baby.
woo!
Woo! We're so back.
We're so back. Anyway. Catch us next month covering Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry for August's episode, which will be the start of our 3rd season. Woo! Alrighty, bye!
Bye!
That bye with your people just hits different.